Ms. Case, it's 7:30. The meeting is recording. I don't know if everyone can see what I can see. So I do see there's 16 attendees currently logged in, and the meeting is open for others to join. So I anticipate we'll have some others joining us. There are 16 members of the panelists. There's one screen for members of the public, or we'll see this recorded. So for the good of the group, Kia Bergman is our Director of Communication. She is helping to manage on the back end of the webinar, as it's our first time going through this. And Bonnie Cheney is our Assistant Board Secretary, so she is on as she normally would be in our meetings. And I will turn it over to Ms. Cage to welcome and open the comments, and I'll make some remarks myself.
Okay, thanks, Dave. So prior to us gathering in this setting, we had a closed session, so our meeting has been called to order, so we can begin. I just wanted to start by just making a few comments. I think it was about a little more than a month ago that I woke up on a Saturday morning to a text from the superintendent asking me to call him when I had a few minutes to talk. And the first thing he said to me when he picked up the phone was that he had been up all night thinking about what would happen if we were asked to close schools and deliver instruction virtually. And I actually don't have a lot of evidence to suggest that he's gotten much sleep since then. With very little notice, we have all been asked to change how we work and how we meet, how we teach and how we learn, and quite frankly, literally how we spend our days. As members of the Board of Education, we understand that there are always going to be differences of opinion with respect to WWP's response to the constantly evolving information that's associated with this global pandemic. But at the same time, we also know that every single person in this school district has worked with great care and concern and empathy for our students and staff and their families. So even in these challenging days, we have much to be grateful for in WWP. So on behalf of the board, I'd just like to take a couple of minutes to extend some thank yous. First, the board would like to thank every single one of our students and their families. We want you to know that we share your feelings of disappointment from missed experiences and opportunities. And we greatly appreciate your patience, your flexibility, and your understanding as together we navigate these uncharted days of social distancing and virtual learning. We think we also need to send out a shout and say thank you to those students who have been providing in-house tech support for their families. Next, we want to thank everyone who works for the West Windsor-Plainsboro Regional School District for their dedication and commitment to their jobs. We know that your work has not been easy. We want you to know that we appreciate your diligence and your determination in meeting the needs of our students and maintaining the district's operations. And finally, we need to extend an extra special thank you to our superintendent, Dr. David Adderhold, for being bold and principled every single day. Dave, we want you to know that the board has the utmost confidence in your leadership, and we truly cannot thank you enough for your tireless work and deep commitment to the entire WWP community. There is no responsibility that the board takes more seriously than ensuring the safety and well-being of our students, staff, and the entire community. So as I sit here in my dining room and we all sit in our homes for our first virtual school board meeting, the board would like to thank everyone for helping us to take care of each other. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent for his comments.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for those kind words. Greetings to everyone joining us this evening, obviously in very different times and very different circumstances. We greatly appreciate those of you that are able to join us this evening and for the time you took to be with us tonight. And after this meeting, the meeting will record, it will convert, and then I'll share it with our tech staff, and within the day or so, we'll have it up on the district website for the public. Sorry, just saw the screen change there as other members of the board joined us. I want to send my thanks and appreciation to the school community. I'm supported by an amazing administrative leadership team, many on this call, but our senior leadership, but leadership throughout the district. We have tremendous support in partnership with the WWPEA and the WWPSA, the Service Association and the Education Association, representing our teachers and our service staff, who immediately stepped right in to meet with us and help with planning process and put together the first wave of what the first steps were, followed by, thinking longer term about what if 2 weeks turns into more, and what if more turns into longer, and whatnot. There have been tremendous obstacles in the last several weeks as we've worked to try to navigate truly uncharted territories where code and laws provisions were absent, to find a way through this collectively. I thank my county superintendent colleagues and other educators throughout the state for their partnership. Our representatives from the Department of Education have been remarkable in supporting us with answers in our associations that we lean on. Yeah, as our community knows, we are closed until the governor's orders are lifted. As a school community, we have messaged that we're out through the month of April. Obviously, if something changes, we'll reassess. But the Executive Order 104 will stand in time until Governor Murphy reassesses that determination. Currently, in the state of New Jersey, in the country, there are 10 states that have now made the determination to extend that through the full school year. New Jersey has not made that determination, at least as of the time I got on this call or this webinar. But we are preparing for every potential option that could be in front of us. As of last night in West Windsor, from the mayor's message, I believe it said there was 35 community members that had contracted, that were contracted and positive COVID-19 or coronavirus. I do not have that number in Plainsboro, but what I can say is that as of this afternoon, there was over 268 cases in Mercer and over 1,200 in Middlesex. So the counties in which our school district resides has been afflicted with positive cases. And we need to make sure that we're ensuring the safety and health of our students and our families, and that we're abiding by all the recommendations of the CDC, the NJDOH, and public health officials. And to that, I want to make sure I mention the just tremendous support of Jill Swanson and the West Windsor Health Department. Jill has been a tremendous resource for the school district at every turn with this, giving guidance and feedback and recommendations and being an ear for us to reach out to and ask questions of. So I just wanted to publicly thank Jill and her team for their support. As a Mercer County school district, but a Mercer Middlesex County district, we have a tendency to work with most of the Mercer County divisions through us, but for public health and emergency and fire, we work with both Middlesex County Health and Mercer County. So we have to be mindful that for other operational systems, we're a two-county system. With respect to our, the obstacles and challenges ahead for our students, as a father of 5, ages kindergarten, 2nd, 8th, 10th, and 12th, with a kindergartner and a senior, I know all too well the pains that our families are going through as we lose proms, and junior prom was canceled at this time. No decision yet on prom, but as we go through these ceremonial experiences and things that we look back on, we look on it and our heart bleeds for the things that kids are losing. At the same time, above all, the health and safety of our students and our families are the utmost important. And this is a time for us to be reminded of the importance of family and community, and while we're socially distancing, we should be staying socially connected as much as possible. Our students should know that counselors and teachers and nurses and administration are all available for them should they need support during this time. I also want to send a thank you to our volunteers that have helped us with the food service delivery. We have approximately 500 families that receive services for food and support. And we've been able to maintain that through closure due to the thanks of volunteers that have come in and through the work of our food service director. And it's volunteers because unfortunately our food service company has furloughed their workers. So in order to make sure that we could call families and communicate with families and pack boxes and distribute, it's been a team effort of individuals that have been doing that. So my thanks to them for all those efforts. and I'd be remiss if I didn't just take a moment to just thank our first responders, our medical personnel, our doctors, our nurses, our EMT workers, our food service folks, the individuals that are putting themselves out there on the front lines to make sure that, you know, the societal needs are being met and they're caring for members of our community. And as a, you know, I know there's many representatives that fit that category in our school district community. We want to say our thanks and appreciation to them. So for now, we're in a virtual world, and our teachers are doing yeoman's work to make changes. We were very well positioned 6-12, 5-12 because of our Chromebook and Google Classroom initiatives. At the K-4 level, we've had to definitely take some steps into this as we're both building knowledge and capacity, and we're providing more and more resources and trainings for our staff. And I ask parents to just be mindful of that this happened with a very quick transition, and that we're working to make modifications and improvements to enhance opportunities for connection. And I think you'll start seeing changes as, you know, this week and then rolling forward after spring break. And so, you know, we appreciate feedback, and we appreciate all the efforts that our parents are making as they've helped to deliver instruction at the dining room tables. And, you know, as I said, I know all too well what that's like to navigate lots of different assignments from lots of different teachers. So, you know, I'm right there with you in feeling that pain from the parent perspective in managing work and trying to figure out how to maintain our children's education with the support of our teachers. So, you know, for now, I'm going to turn the meeting back to Ms. Cage to move through the agenda. But again, my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to the members of our school community. And please stay safe and healthy. Michelle, you're muted.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Dave. That's going to bring us to the first opportunity for public comment. The board invites thoughts and reactions on agenda items and items of concern for members of our community who have submitted written comments on the form that was open and available on the district website up until the start of this first opportunity for public comment. All submissions containing all required fields completed will be viewed and heard during the meeting and included as public comment in the official minutes. Each comment should be directed to the presiding officer and not individual members of the board. So for that, now I'm going to turn it over to Mark Toscano, our board attorney.
Michelle, what I'm going to do, just for the members of the community know, I have the ability to share screen. So I will share screen so the public comments will come up in front, and then Mr. Toscano will actually read the public comment so that it's recorded for the record. Then a copy of the record will be saved and then ultimately included as part of the written record of this meeting.
Thanks, Dave.
And while that's loading, let me just note that in addition to the items that were noted on the agenda for discussion in exec session, there was 2 additional items that were added. First one would be under exception number 7, matters of attorney-client privilege, and it was an update on the High School South site work bid. The second item would also be number 7, and it was a discussion of pending legislation, in particular Assembly Bill A3902. Those are the only 2 items in addition to what was listed on the agenda that was publicly available. So with respect to public comments, and I will apologize to all members of the public if I mispronounce your name. The first member is Sheila Castellaro. Address is 107 Quake Ridge, Plainsboro. And the comment is for small kids in the schools do not open this year, will grades be based in their interaction in the learning apps and daily teacher board message participation? That was the end of the first comment. The second comment has been submitted by Veronica Mino, 41 Galveston Drive. The comment is, we are all going through this pandemic and most of our plans and goals have been turned upside down or postponed. It is budget season for the school district, and it is customary the administration requested a 2% increase. At this time, that unemployment is calculated to be at least 20% is imperative that the administration shows caution and financial restraint. As of today, several of the developments that were portrayed in the referendum are on hold. Howard Hughes sold their property. Therefore, there is no chance to have any residential building in that land. On January 22nd, 2020, I received the answer to my OPA request. I know how Ms. Cage likes to follow very closely the OPA request that I send, although I find it highly uncomfortable. And from 2013, when Dr. Adderhold became superintendent of West Windsor-Plainsboro Regional School District to date, October 2019, the number of students that the school has went down by 220 pupils. Information below from the OPA request. The October 15, 2000 enrollment figures for the requested school years follow. This enrollment information does not include preschool enrollment from those years. 2013, 2014, 9,821. 2014, 15, 9,761.5. 2015, 2016, 9,718.5. 2016, 2017, 9,708.5. 2017, 2018, 9,744.5. 2018, 2019, 9,753.5. 2019, 2020, 9,601.5. The administration should not continue to build without taking into consideration the actual financial situation that the country is living in. This administration and the, it scrolled back, excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. This administration and BOE is responsible for the fiasco that MH has become. That project is a year late, not completed, and still the administration has not shared the amount of money that this delay is costing the community. All this amounts to being extremely financially reckless. I urge the administration to keep the taxes at the same level that have been for the fiscal year 2019-2020. That is the end of the comments.
Just going to make sure that. Yeah.
Oh, yes, sorry.
I'm just going to refresh screen, Mark, and just make sure none other came in.
Okay. I don't see any others.
That was it.
That was it. That concludes the public comment period, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. So that brings us now to our board committee reports. The three committees did get a chance to meet last week virtually. So we'll begin with the administration and facilities report, and I'll turn that over now to Tony Flores.
First, I had to unmute, sorry. All right, the Facilities Committee met on March 24th. We had the superintendent provided an overview of the virtual learning experience for students, teachers, and families. The discussion included instructional planning, virtual instruction, virtual meetings, technology needs, meal distribution, school security, athletics, student activities, and construction. Then we discussed the communication plan. The committee reviewed a draft of all the district's communications plan, which includes how the district communicates to all stakeholders. The superintendent will continue to review and edit with key stakeholder input. Then the district discussed the 2019-2020 calendar. Administrators met to discuss the potential for amending the current school calendar with the potential of reducing spring break. After input from several administrative groups and various stakeholders, it was determined that the district would operate under the current 2019-2020 calendar, and there would be no changes to spring break. The committee then reviewed two policies and one regulation concerning athletic field lights, use of school facilities, and benefits covering the foreman category F. The field lights policy was amended to remove some expired language, which was relevant only for the first 3 years of the field light installation. And the committee also amended the non-affiliate policy F to include the position auto mechanic. And the committee recommends policy 7551 and regulation 7510 for its second reading tonight. And the other policy on the foreman is here for the first reading. Then the assistant superintendent for pupil services and planning provided the committee with an update on the closing of the district's athletics facilities. Several groups of students and community members have visited outdoor facilities during the school closure. All facilities will be locked and signs will be posted with notification that facilities are closed. Coaches are also communicating the message to their student athletes. And then we discussed the referendum. Work at Grover Middle School continues, and work on the roofs at Millstone River and High School North for the HVAC projects will commence in the coming weeks. Bids have been received for community middle school, but need to be reviewed because they came in over the budgeted amount. And bids are being received, will be received that day for High School South, Phase 1 site work, toilet room repairs, and security vestibule construction in the district schools. The superintendent also discussed the procedures for construction during the school closure. There was an equity update meeting scheduled with Dr. Fergus, scheduled for March 27th, and that's been canceled. And the district will continue equity work virtually and is currently planning with Dr. Fergus. During virtual instruction, all buildings are being monitored by eyes on the door, school security, and Class 3 officers. And because of the recent state of executive orders, officers will monitor the buildings from 6 a.m. to midnight. Next meeting is scheduled for April 21st. Thank you.
So are there any questions for Tony or the A&F committee? Okay, so now we're going to move it over for the report from the curriculum committee, and for that I'll turn it over to Dana Krug.
Hello, good evening. The curriculum committee also met on March 24th virtually. And first we heard about a research project that Melissa Pearson is doing on elementary mathematics reform, disrupting the status quo of a high-performing district and the roles of professional learning, teacher beliefs, and instructional practices. Then we had an overview of the remote learning experiences. Dr. Nathan walked us through how the different grade levels and experiences, what those were looking like, and some of the fine-tuning that was happening as we progressed through this this process. Then we looked at a number of professional development opportunities that we recommend approval of, and one is the Apply Yoga Fitness to provide a one-day workshop for educators, and not to exceed $1,690, and then several other other professional development opportunities that may or may not happen based on their timing and what's going on right now. One was for 2 staff members to attend the Teach at the Beach 2020, that's in May. 5 staff members to attend the Quest 2020 Scholars Program through Princeton University Teacher Prep, that's in July. There's actually 2 other staff members attending that as well. And then 1 staff member to, it's at different times, I'm sorry, different times in July. That's why there's listed 3 times. And then 2 district staff members to attend Shape America National Conference in Salt Lake City. That's in April. I don't know if that's still happening. And then 1 staff member to attend a 1-week Teacher College Summer Institute at Columbia, and that's in June. There was also, we recommend the approval of the disposal of obsolete items in accordance with regulation 7300.1 is 820 books from community middle school media center because they are so outdated as to no longer serve as worthy instructional tools or so worn and or damaged as to preclude effective use and economical repair or restoration. And then there was a non-public technology expenditure that we recommend approval of going to the Laurel School of Princeton. We will next meet virtually on Tuesday, April 21st.
Thanks, Dana. Does anybody have any questions about the curriculum committee? All right, so we're going to turn it now over for the Finance Committee report, and I'll turn that now to Louisa Ho.
Okay, the Finance Committee met on March 24th. Dr. Adehold shared how the district is operating virtually. The business office is running virtually, although there are times when some staff need to do certain things from the office. Purchasing has continued and is doing bid openings in the multi-purpose room and outside on the patio so that we can maintain physical distancing. The committee reviewed the finance-related agenda items for tonight's meeting. Highlights of that are the bids for the community middle school project were received and are over budget. There were additions to the scope of the project, including the larger parking lot and improvement of the athletic fields. Tonight's agenda includes our rejecting the bids. Tony also updated the group already tonight on bids for a variety of projects that were received on the 24th. For building and grounds, the administration is recommending that we reduce the custodial maintenance and grounds contract to just cleaning services. This will bring maintenance staff and grounds personnel in district. Aramark has agreed to terminate their contract with us early at the end of April, which will help us facilitate a smoother transition. Also on the agenda are a variety of other items, including change order credits for town center, items to be disposed of, transportation routes, and travel expenses. The 2020-21 budget has been submitted, and we are awaiting county office approval. A construction update for Hawk. Repairs are underway to smooth out the transition flooring from the classrooms to the hallway. Legal counsel for both the contractor and the administration have met to finalize the project and legal claims. Referendum, I was going to cover that, but Tony has already talked about a referendum update on the construction. For the energy savings improvement plan, bids that were due on March 24th have been postponed until April 9th. Snyder Electric is looking at amending their plans for High School South HVAC replacement to include after-hours work during the school year instead of during the summer only. This change to the design will require the contractor only taking small portions of the building offline each night for repairs and having it up and running for the school day. Insurance renewals, RFPs will be ready to go out for the broker of record for health insurance and an RFP for property and casualty insurance. Maintenance and custodial services, we are hiring a new contractor for custodial services. We are hiring ABM Industry Groups. Cafeteria, we have been providing 495 meals for our free and reduced student population on Mondays. We are packing and having families pick up for 2 weeks at a time. Transportation, we are in discussions with our transportation providers about adjustments to the payments to reflect the fact that the schools are closed. We also need to be mindful, however, that we need the bus companies to be operable and have drivers when schools reopen. The district has applied for and won a $15,000 rebate through the Volkswagen settlement towards the purchase of a replacement diesel bus. The committee will next meet on April 21st.
Thank you, Louisa. Does anybody have any questions about the finance report? All right, so that's going to bring us now to the voting portion of our meeting. I'm going to ask everyone who this applies to help me in case I'm missing any addendums. Okay, so we're going to start now with administration items. I need a motion, please, on administration items 1 to 7, plus addendum number 1, which is the settlement agreement with student ID number 322056, and addendum number 2, which is the resolution in opposition of the delay of the transmission of quarterly property tax revenue to districts. So can I please get a motion on administration items 1 to 7 plus those 2 addendum? Tony and Robin. Now, Mark, are we gonna discuss any of that now?
Sure. With respect to the addenda item number 2, which is the resolution in opposition to Assembly Bill 3902, what that bill, which has presently passed the Assembly by unanimous vote and is expected to be considered in the Senate sometime next week. That bill would allow municipalities to delay sending tax payments to school districts if municipalities receive a decrease in revenue. This bill is concerning for school districts, and the New Jersey School Boards Association has recommended that school districts oppose the bill because unlike municipalities that have the ability to borrow or to go to a bank and to secure a loan or line of credit in anticipation of tax receipts, school districts do not have that option. This is a legislation that, although probably founded in good principle and altruistic means, could have very serious unintended consequences for school districts as districts continue to try to operate and continue as best as possible. We are still running. We are still instructing. These days are counting towards the 180-day requirement. Unlike other states, New Jersey has taken no action to move off the 180-day requirements. Staff is still being employed. There have been no layoffs in this district. So all contractual commitments are being honored. In order to be able to continue that, it is imperative that the district continue to receive its funds. This is not in any way meant to be insulting or questioning the motives of either our partners in Plainsboro or West Windsor. This is just when you consider the fact that this district is approximately 90% funded by local share, meaning property tax. Delays in those payments could be very catastrophic, and presently there is no mechanism legally for the district to be able to fund or to float that decrease in funding. So those are the concerns with the legislation that the New Jersey School Boards Association has and the board has in terms of bringing forward the resolution. And Dr. Adderall, did I miss anything in that summary?
No, Mark, I don't believe you did. This was brought forward through Assembly Bill 3902. It's currently moved to the Senate, and our understanding is it will be heard by the Senate as early as next week, potentially Thursday, although it's not been posted yet. So it's just something that as a community we need to be very mindful of. And as Mr. Toscano said, we have no mechanism for which to be able to make payments if we lose the ability to have the quarterly taxes delivered from the townships. So unless Dr. Russo has any additional information that he'd like to share, I think we can move forward with the vote.
Yeah, no, just the fact that we're 90% locally funded. The tax anticipation notes is something municipalities do on a regular basis. School districts don't. Banks really don't look favorably at districts when they're doing it. And it would seriously impact the operation, especially when we're being asked by the DOE to continually employ staff, find something for them to do, and continually, and our teachers and the rest of the administration staff are providing instruction as if we were in, obviously virtually, but everyone is still working. And we're told to keep people employed, but then at the same time, they want to reduce our funding, which is going to be difficult to operate.
Thanks. Chris, before you call the roll, I'm just going to ask my board colleagues to unmute their microphones so we can record our votes. There you go.
Okay, looking good. Okay, we'll start with the administration items. We'll start with Mr. Chang.
Yes.
Mr. Flores.
Yes.
Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. McCune. Ms. McCune.
Yes.
Okay, couldn't hear you. Sorry. Mr. Whitfield.
Yes.
Mrs. Ovich.
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes.
Ms. Case.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Can I please get a motion on the curriculum items 1 to 3? Dana and Graylin. Are there any questions or comments on the curriculum items? Thank you, Chris.
Okay, we'll start with Mr. Flores.
Yes.
Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. McCune.
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield.
Yes.
Ms. Ovich.
Yes.
Mr. Chang.
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes.
Ms. Case.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Could I please get a motion on the finance items 1 to 19, plus the one finance addendum relative to the Hawk edition? Louisa and Isaac. Dave, do you want to give us some information on that addendum for us?
Sure. The Hawk project, as everyone knows, has received some significant delays. And we originally in December, I believe it was December 17th board meeting, we initiated a first addendum to the contract, essentially putting certain work provisions in place to bring the project to completion. Those deadlines were due just around right around Valentine's Day, I believe the 12th or so, 12th, 13th of that week. And of course, the project was not completed or wasn't completed to the satisfaction of us as the owner. There were certain areas of punch list, certain areas of floor that we found to be deficient, and we weren't accepting the job, and the architect recommendation was not to accept the job as completed. We feel that we have a responsibility to the community to make sure that the standard that we're accepting is of the highest quality, and that we did feel that there was some potential safety concerns with respect to the final product that needed to be rectified. So we've gone through a process with the 3Rs and their bonding company, and our board counsel, Parker McKay, for this particular project, and working on solutions with respect to the floor transitions, the flooring with extended warranties, maintenance bonds, punch list items, not nailing down the deadline of April 30th now, working through agreements on what the liquidated damages are. And so we do bring forward an agreement this evening that should bring the project to completion. And if the project isn't completed, then it opens up the conversation of damages all over again. And then it would bring, but I don't believe the company itself, 3Rs, or the school district wants this to move forward in a negative fashion at this time. We need to make sure the job is completed to satisfaction of the district, and that's the standard we're holding to. I would say one other component of the original separation, or excuse me, addendum to the agreement in December that we were able to negotiate was that the company that's working on the Hawk project has agreed to, in the settlement, not to bid on any work or at any successor company, any jobs for the school district for a 10-year period. That's an unheard of precedent. The most you ever see is 5, and we were able to have 10 years of no bidding on any work for the district. Agreed to by their lawyer, their bonding company, and their owner.
Thank you, Dave. Are there any other questions, or ready to go?
Cool. We'll start with Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Then Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. McCune.
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield.
Yes.
Ms. Ovich.
Yes.
Mr. Chang.
Yes.
Mr. Flores.
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes.
And Ms. Case.
Yes.
Okay.
Could I please get a motion on the personnel items 1 plus the 2 additional addendums, addendum 1 and 2? Martin and Rachel. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Charity, you have to unmute.
I'd also like to make a correction on the personnel agenda, page 4, under the non-affiliated staff, part C, staff member Jose Villafuerte. His proper title should be auto mechanic.
Thank you, Charity. So with that correction, can I please get a motion on personnel item 1 plus the 2 addendum, Martin and Rachel? Are there any questions? Thank you, Chris.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield,
Yes.
Ms. Zovich,
Yes.
Mr. Chang,
Yes.
Mr. Flares,
Yes.
Ms. Ho,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana,
Yes.
Ms. Case.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to take 1 minute to acknowledge 2 retirements that we just voted on. Sarah Musto, the high school South media specialist, is retiring after 11 years with the district. And Lisa Stamil, a special ed teacher at Millstone River School, is retiring after 33 years in the district. The board would like to wish them well in their retirement and hope they are happy and healthy days ahead.
Ms. Cage, can I make one comment about what was just also approved on the personnel agenda?
Absolutely.
So just for the good of the public, that if you're not viewing the personnel matter in live time, personnel agenda in live time, there are 21 positions that were just approved tonight by the Board of Education, bringing back maintenance and operations foremen and grounds back to the district. So you heard earlier that we were approving the addendum to the contract with ABM to be custodial. And you heard that we're modifying the contract to Aramark to conclude at the end of April. What that also does, it brings 21 positions back to the district. So every school building will have an operations foreman return to that school. Our HVAC mechanics, electrical mechanic, auto mechanic, will all and utility foreman, which is grounds foreman, will return. Grounds personnel will return back to the district. The district courier will return as well. So we're returning control of building and grounds maintenance back to the district, not to an outside company. So I'm pleased to report the return of 21 positions of both the non-affiliate F as well as the Service Association members back to the district.
Thank you, Dave. Can I please get a motion to approve the minutes from February 25th and March 10th? Graylin and Dana. All those in favor say aye.
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 Are there any abstentions or opposed? Are there any liaison reports? Is there any new business? That brings us to the second opportunity for public comment. At the end of the meeting, the board will provide a second opportunity for public comment for members of the public that submitted written comments on the form that was open and available on the district website up until the start of this second opportunity for public comment. All submissions containing all required fields completed will be viewed and heard during the meeting and included as public comment in the official minutes. Each comment should be directed to the presiding officer and not individual members of the board. So I'm going to turn that over now back to Dr. Adderhold and our attorney, Mark Toscano.
All right, I'm going to share screen just like we did last time with the first opportunity for public comment. Mark, then I'm going to refresh the screen just to make sure I capture everything.
Okay. The first comment is from Bruce Samistrelli for Weinberg Place. And the comment is?
Sorry, the form was just loading, so I just...
That's okay. I'll note Mr. Samistrelli is familiar to everyone. He is the president of the WWPEA, and he writes, thank you for all that you are doing. Second public comment is from Latoya Edwards, 249 Robbinsville, Edinburgh Road, West Windsor. And the comment is, I just want to say thank you to the school board and the superintendent. This is an unprecedented time and we are in uncharted territory. I'm proud to say that WWP starting virtual learning ASAP. I have friends whose children have been out for 3 weeks without instruction. My children in 5th, 6th, and 8th grade transitioned very smoothly to virtual learning. Thanks to their teachers who have been online every day providing instruction and guidance. Their schedules are easy to follow and my kids are enjoying their virtual learning. Thanks again for your quick transition and having the ability to adapt in a very short period of time. Thank you for making the safety of our students paramount above all. As a parent, I appreciate the sleepless nights and all the efforts made by all of you. My thanks and gratitude. Everyone, please stay safe. Latoya Edwards. The next public comment comes from Sonia Gawas, and I apologize if I mispronounced it.
Sonia Gawas.
Thank you. 29 Melvin Road. And the comment is, I want to take this opportunity to thank all the staff members of the West Windsor-Plainsboro District for making the difficult but quick decision to move to e-learning to safeguard our school community from this pandemic. We are all treading on uncharted waters and we are all doing the best we can. Though on days 1 and 2 weeks ago, we had a rocky start, but 2 weeks later, my children in 4th and 5th grades have become very comfortable working all online. My question is specific for the children with IEP needs around speech therapy. Is it possible for the student to get a video call with the speech teacher without which my student is not getting any further? The slides provided is not helping at all. Excuse me. Thanks and stay safe and look forward to seeing everyone. I apologize. This is me. I have to move on the other side. Next public comment is from Frank Bennett, 231 West End, Ridgewood. The comment is, Frank Bennett with the Bennett Company, Inc., the low bidder on the community middle school project. Our bid was nearly $3 million lower than the voter-approved portion for this project. I was told by the architect and construction manager that the board would rebid this project with the same exact specification and drawings, only to reject again simply to comply with the statute to get into negotiations. This is not the intent of the statute. In recent conversations with the construction manager, I told it was rude that the architect and CM spoke with other bidders, but not the low bidder, Bennett. This is because we believe some shenanigans are going on. We have been treated unfairly and the statute is being abused. We will challenge this in front of a judge very quickly. This project needed to have the additions enclosed before next winter, and this decision and the impending legal case will make this nearly impossible. We also submitted an OPA request and have not received an answer. We have asked to meet with the superintendent, BA, and board, and that request was denied. From being in business for 40 years, this project cannot be completed for $29.9 million. Pricing will only go up due to present conditions, according to subs and suppliers. Again, the way this was handled is against the statute, and this will be in front of a judge very quickly. We are available to discuss anytime. Thank you for the opportunity to be heard. We are confident we will prevail and complete the project. Thank you.
That's the last comment.
That was the last comment.
So I'm just going to stop sharing screen. And as with some prior meetings, sometimes the superintendent will respond to a public comment or two. With that last comment, perhaps I'll save my comments for the judge. So I look forward to that, because the project bid which is public, was $36 million and change. The budgeted amount on the job was $30 million. That's $6 million over, not $3 million under. And if anyone went to our PowerPoints for the referendum presentations, you may recall seeing the number of 38 million with respect to community middle school. But that number includes soft costs, architectural fees, all agency fees, filings fees, reviews, asbestos abatement, furniture. It is not simple all to go build a building, and contingency fees are required by law. So that number that is being cited is not the accurate number. Don't know where Mr. Bennett's getting his information, but that's unfortunate. but I'll be happy to speak in front of a judge on that project. With respect to special education and services, we're in constant conversation with the special education team. Mr. Earl is working with them, has had numerous conversations in the last couple days to weeks to today, including today. I think just for members of the public, just know that this is evolving quickly. We're seeking guidance. There's some different challenges with respect to implementation of IEPs in a virtual world that's different than some other classrooms with respect to public access, IEP, confidentiality rights, FERPA violations, things like that. You may have seen some recent news concerns regarding certain social media platforms that some communities have been using regarding potential FERPA violations. So we've been working with attorneys. There's a state Board of Education should be meeting, I believe, tomorrow virtually, where they'll be discussing some potential provisions. The DOE, US DOE has released some additional guidance. Board Attorney has released some additional guidance. We are currently working to do more online opportunities and direct provision of services to students in a virtual format. We're just working through some of the permission forms and through some of the release, and we'll be doing some communications to parents with students receiving services in the coming days. So more is coming soon.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
So before I take a motion to adjourn, I'm going to wish Louisa a happy birthday. And can I get a motion to adjourn? Louisa wants to start her party, and Tony. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Yeah, I have to
Our
unmute and say aye.
Our meeting is adjourned. I want everybody to stay healthy and safe and positive, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Under.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Good
Bye.
Bye.
Aye.